Hey, what's up, guys? Just wanted to make a little bit of a recap video. Everything that's been going on, I have kind of not been keeping up with it with the car or anything, just because this past month has kind of sucked for me. I've not been feeling too well at all. No Rona or anything, but no COVID, so that's good. I don't know what it is about me. At the end of the year, I always just get sick for a month. All year I go good, and then at the end I just get hit hard. But so here I wanted to make a quick video of the update with the car. So you saw in the last video we fixed our fuel pressure regulator issue. That actually made a noticeable difference. So I did try taking the car to the dyno with the bigger pump, but we all saw how that ended up, and the pump died almost immediately. Like it maybe lasted a day with that pump. But regardless, I ended up switching back to the 340, so I had another spare. Didn't cost me anything. I don't know why I have so many fuel pumps, but I just did. So I went back to my spare 340 that was brand new, still in the packaging, and still took the car to the dyno because we saw in a few logs, data logs, that it did help. So only one way to find out if it actually helped enough. So I took the Okay, so first pull is kind of done. That was just him testing the car out, doing some data logs, just running it through the gears a little bit. Dyno days aren't just about wide open throttle pulls. The tuner will go through some gears, put the car on a load, kind of like different situations. You can simulate different driving situations with the dyno, and that's how you get your car fully, dialed in. Some of you probably noticed a little bit of water coming out the tailpipe. That's fine. That's just E85. E85 does pull in a lot of moisture, and then when it burns, I believe it even creates some water. Just how it's just the after effects of it being burned. So as long as we're not smoking, it's good. Because none of it's going through the combustion chamber. All of that's happening after, like in the tailpipes. So, the car's looking really good, sounding really good, so hopefully we get some wide open throttle pulls now. Okay, so we are actually up 28 horsepower from where we were before. He just kind of pulled up, I guess, like the calculation of how much it would be on a Mustang dyno. It was showing 504. Holy sh... So the car definitely does feel fast. This is still no corrections. We're still seeing that we may still have an issue up top. It's a lot better than it was before because we did pick up a lot of power. That was just with me fixing my issues. So there you go. That's how much we were leaving on the table just that day. So we're gonna try and figure out why this car just does not like to have fuel pressure up top. So I don't know what else I could replace for it to have fuel pressure. I've already cleaned the fuel filter on it, because it's a cleanable one. So I cleaned it with solution, everything, so it's spotless, and replaced the fuel pump with also a 340. They should be capable about 750 horsepower on pump gas. This is the 85, so maybe because E85 being I don't know if it's heavier or lighter. I think it's lighter because we do require more. Because it has to flow that much more, maybe the horsepower rating is dropped down significantly, down to essentially where I'm at now. So we're going to keep moving forward with it. We're going to try and troubleshoot it. He's going to try and maybe add some more fuel up top, see if it'll actually hold this time. And hopefully the car doesn't, wig out on us. So we're going to keep going with it. I totally missed the run like a dummy. It sounded fucking beautiful. It's loud. I'm gonna try and catch the next one for you guys. And before we get to the action, like I promised, check this fucking thing out. Actually, I've driven with this guy. He was actually there when I wrecked my car. So I totally forgot his name. This was a friend of a friend's. I've only met him once, but he seemed like a really cool dude. It's actually a pretty cool car. I guess it's getting the Metro treatment, so it's probably going to be a pretty badass car once it comes out. So, but this car is definitely one of those that you just cannot ignore or unsee. So, it's pretty cool. He's got the giant battle arrow wing. Looks like it's probably, yeah, it's slid down so they can get the trunk open. Carbon trunk. That is awesome. Yeah, that's a full carbon fiber trunk. Wow. That's really cool. It's a little dirty from it sitting, but carbon trunk. Paint matched carbon hood. See, I like that. I like it when people actually paint match their hoods. You know? Sometimes like having the full carbon hood, especially on a car that has like, I guess, not enough carbon on it, it doesn't look as good. I really like the look when they paint it and they just leave a little bit of exposed carbon, just like how he did there. So he's got all the lighting in the front. So this is, yeah, so this was definitely one of those Canyon Run cars. Of course, all-wheel drive, gotta love that. It's got some rear canards on it. Some pretty cool looking exhaust. So yeah, so this guy has gone all out. So field coilovers just like mine. It looks like maybe Cusco. I think that's what the C is. I forget the brand. Arc exhaust. Yeah, it's Cusco. Okay, I see it. So Cusco control arms. So ARC exhaust or ARK exhaust. So that looks like a crazy looking exhaust. If I remember correctly, yeah, this car sounded pretty wicked when I first saw it, that, you know, back in the day, but that was, I think, like 2 years ago. About 2 years ago, November about 2-3 years ago was probably when I wrecked my car. So yeah, those were definitely fun times. Too bad I didn't get to like really like hang out and talk to the dude. He was pretty cool. He was pretty chill. Just, of course, I had a lot of other things going on that day. So all right, now back to the car. Picked up a little bit more. I mean, that 464 is still pretty good. Is it still going lean up top? Damn. Alrighty. Well, back to the drawing board. But this thing just made 464. That's another 14 horsepower, so that's going to be a little bit noticeable. It's going to be a lot cleaner. But we're still fucking battling issues with it going lean up top. So after the dyno, I had quite a bit of work on my hands. So there was a good bit. So I guess starting from the bottom up, one thing was straight out of the bat that had to get fixed was that flat spotted tire. I kind of ruined on the way up to, or not on the way up, but during the autocross day. So here's a little bit of a clip of me showing the tire. You know, I just wanted to show you guys like just how bad I flat spotted this tire. So you could kind of see, like right there's a small little spot. You can see the grooves. Where is it? Ooh, it's right here. So this tire has a little bit of a squareness to it. So you can just see in the depth of the tread. Like there you can see like the tip of my finger, like where it's, let's see, where it's not so flat spotted, like it's up to my nail. So I actually ended up getting in touch with my good friend Eric. I mean, you know, it's pretty cool. He always shows me his shop and everything, all the cool projects he has. He's got some pretty crazy sponsors. So he was able to help me out on some tires. I got a full set of tires from him. So not only did I just get the one front tire that I needed, also I just went ahead and got all four because it was a pretty good deal. Mine already have some like cracks in them and stuff like that. These are literally used once. He used them for one day and then he took them off and he's like, all right, time for a brand new set. But I don't know if you can see it on this tire, but on the other tire there's a lot of these like stress cracks all over the side. That's just they're just showing their age. I believe the tires are a few years old. I don't know if you can see it on this one, but the lighting's terrible right now. Let me go ahead and turn this light on. But on a couple of spots, you'll just see like the dry rot spots on this tire. I think they're more on the inside. But so that's why I'm gonna go ahead and just replace all four. The rears are starting to get a little low, and I know every time I put a semi-fresh set on this car, the car just does so much better. So issue number 2 was the fuel pump. I was able to get in touch with Travis Dean over at Power by the Hour, also with Frank, and they gave me a lot of advice and also were able to hook me up with a proper fuel pump. They were able to send me out a Quantum 450. Even after Black Friday, they were able to source me one, which was super awesome of them. It came with a hanger, everything, which is awesome because my old hanger was actually bad. One of the wires, one of the terminals that are like pressed in that you can't really replace or repair, it was kind of like the wire was broken right there, so I couldn't really do anything. So I'm guessing that was causing some voltage issues. So I was able to get that pump in. So pretty much like here's a little bit of the work that I did to get that pump in the car. Okay, that was relatively painless on removing the tank and removing the old pump, but installing the new one, it was a little difficult. Nothing that nobody can do with just a simple screwdriver. You just have to be really careful because the edge is super sharp and you don't want to cut the tube. So the pump is in. So what I had to do was I kind of had to peel up that little lip that's on the inside. I kind of had to peel it up. So to give me a little bit more room, just because they kind of put the crimps on the back side and then they have the return tube on this side and then the crimps on this side. I don't know if Quantum's watching this, but if they put their crimps right next to the tube, it'll actually make the overall diameter just a smidge smaller and actually make it pop right in. If you don't know what I mean,
let's look at this one. So this hanger is actually very similar to what I'm talking about. So you see how I put the worm clamp. This is actually the incorrect way to do it. It's better to just get an actual setup. But this worked. I put the worm clamp right next to the tube because it makes the overall diameter smaller. If you put it on the opposite side of the tube, it actually makes the overall diameter larger. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to install. Here, I'm gonna quit getting this thing dirty, so I'll put this back. That way I can at least have a spare pump if I ever need a pump for something. Maybe this. Who knows? So now we actually have a wiring kit that came with it that I already lost. Oh, it's right there. So, which is cool because with mine, the connector was already super loose. So this is the stock connector. It was already like crazy sloppy. I mean, it's probably the original connector, 30 plus years old, you know. So we got some upgraded wiring that we're gonna be using, and I'm gonna be routing that up into the car. And yeah, so now we're actually gonna have some legit wiring in it. I don't know if I should cut this plug or not. I may just leave it just for future reference and then just route these through one of the open holes. So yeah, all right, well, I'm gonna keep working at this. Now all I gotta do is just do the reverse process. It's so much easier when it's empty. Actually, I do have to fix one little thing. I do have a freaking riv nut that fell out on my diffuser. For my diffuser, it actually goes to the bottom tray. I'm actually gonna go ahead and fix that now since I have everything out. So I'm right now that the tank is empty too, I can easily lift it up, flip this upside down, and put a fresh riv nut in there. So I'm gonna take care of that. Okay, before I assembled everything back together, I really wanted to show you guys this quick little tip. If you're using riv nuts on plastic, if you've done it already before, you may already know that it's like you either get to get a special kind or it's a pain in the ass because they like to strip out. One quick surefire way, even with like regular rivets, if you want to rivet stuff to plastic, over time the plastic will kind of oval out and, you know, the rivet will pop out. Quick little tip is either use a small little square of sheet metal, aluminum, anything that's a lot harder than plastic, or even a washer. So this is how I did it. I simply put a washer through, and essentially what that's doing, instead of the riv nut gripping onto the plastic, it's actually squishing the plastic. So yeah, essentially I just riveted the plastic. There's also a different style of riv nut. This is the one that came with the Carter Customs kit. It's a lot nicer one. So this one has these crazy ears that pop out and just grips onto the plastic. It's essentially doing kind of like what the washer is doing. But if you're kind of like me and you don't want to wait, you know, forever for one of those to show up and you already got a whole stack of riv nuts, go ahead and do it this way. So that's a small little tip. Hopefully it helps somebody out there. So I'm gonna go ahead, button all this up, and then we can get to the front, swap out those spark plugs, and finish up that last line and get this car started. So see you guys in a bit. So after the car was, you know, back down on the ground, I decided to go ahead and start working on the front, getting those fuel rails installed and fixing up all those fuel lines, because I did have to make a couple. I did have to modify like my return, shorten it up by quite a substantial amount, and then also create another small line, and that all required fittings and, you know, a couple back and forths to the auto parts store, and I guess this is kind of how it came out. So let me know what you think about my fuel system here. So these are MMR billet fuel rails. So they're billet aluminum fuel rails that I actually ended up sourcing used. So of course, again with Black Friday, everything going on, I was not able to really find anything in stock. Everything was pretty much like out of stock or back order, or, you know, all that good stuff from all the holiday shopping. So I was actually able to source these used through my local marketplace. I did have to drive out a little ways, but the guy was cool. He met me halfway, so I only had to drive about an hour to go meet up with him. So I got these at a nice price, and I also went ahead and relocated the regulator to the other side, so now it's off the fuel rail. I did my best to keep the line from the fuel rail to the regulator as short as possible to prevent any kind of weird pulsating issues. So also properly mounted the regulator to the strut tower brace. That's not going to really be moving at all. Also went ahead and used some riv nuts and some proper, you know, Allen head bolts, and did my best to countersink them into the bracket themselves. So it's a nice flush system that is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So with that alone, with the pump, so after the pump and after the fuel rails, again, car just started feeling a lot better. You can kind of tell that the car's kind of like starting to make more power through kind of like your butt dyno. So car's getting a lot quicker. It just, something just wasn't there still, so my tuner finally recommended, it's like, hey, let's just go ahead and get your injectors cleaned. Like, my injectors are still fairly new, so I don't know if it was just from those 2 months of them sitting when I was building the motor, or maybe some gunk in them from that after I cleaned the filter. So he wanted to get them cleaned. So he actually took the liberty of taking them with him and sonic cleaning them for me. So that was really cool of him, helping me out like that. And he actually saw that there was a 30% noticeable difference. So there was about a couple of them were about 30% off, and he's like, these are probably like your passenger side injectors that just weren't properly firing or not properly squirting the fuel into the cylinder. So we were getting major fuel flow issues there. So now, after I got the injectors back, I actually took the car out for a test drive, and it's a lot faster now. Now it's actually starting to get kind of scary of how like a lot quicker it is. And then after a few data logs, the tuners thinks that so my buddy Sean, he's the one who's tuning the car. He thinks that we may actually have all the issues finally solved after going front to back on the fuel system. So again, I guess when you build one of these cars, you gotta make sure you go overkill from the get-go. I'm still debating on getting a Cobra tank for this car because I've always wanted one because they're baffled. So I will, hopefully, if I find one, if any of you guys know where there's one that's, you know, for sale for cheap, that's still in decent condition, you know, let me know. You know, go ahead, comment below. Probably won't happen until like after the new year, but you know, anything can happen. So that's gonna be hopefully it with all the crazy dynoing. So hopefully the next video is just gonna be the dyno video, and then I'm also gonna start working on upgrading a lot of the suspension side of the house. So of course tires, that's gonna get fixed. So I spoke with Jack Hidley over at Maximum Motorsports, and he did not hold out any punches, and he truly let me know where my weaknesses were with my setup, and that's what we're going to be doing next on the car after it finally gets dyno tuned. So I already have everything coming in for the car. So he gave me the sway bar recommendation, springs, all that good stuff. So I'll be showing you guys where I have a lot of weak points on this car, and hopefully we can make the car handle better. So I do have a lot of seat time in this car already. The suspension has not changed whatsoever, and I want to say like in the last 2-3 years. So I think I got plenty of seat time in this car for me to actually do a spring, you know, springs and maybe sway bar, and maybe add a little bit more stiffening. So it's not going to be a lot of parts. It's only kind of like 2 major components. but they should make a huge difference. And then we're just gonna do one of trying to add a little bit more rigidity to the car. He saw where we could probably improve on the tube frame, so we're gonna do that. So with that, hopefully you know, the new year brings us into some exciting new stuff with the car, and hopefully we'll be able to start a good autocross season. And hopefully there's no more funny business with COVID and stuff like that and getting a lot of events canceled, and we can actually, you know, do a full complete season with that. So with that, I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully this kind of just sums up everything that's been happening with the car, everything that's been going on, and I can kind of get back to making regular videos as soon as I'm done being sick. And after the holidays, of course, because I will be driving up to Idaho to go spend some time with some family. So with that, I'll catch you guys later. Have, you know, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all that good stuff. If you like the videos, please comment something you like or something you hate. I don't care. Just let me know. And, you know, smash the like button, subscribe if you'd like, and, you know, take it easy. So catch you guys later. Peace out.